Today's video is going to be a little different. Just as in the ancient world where singers were highly revered, so much so we have the same way of celebrating them today. For example, pharaohs would employ singers to entertain him and his court along with musicians. In temples dedicated to goddesses like Hathor, singers held a very high role. Singers were offered lavish tombs and burials. For if you had a beautiful voice, this was seen as a gift from the gods. Therefore, you were in a sense divine. Ancient Greeks and Romans used to put on huge concerts with thousands of people filling amphitheaters to watch and hear singers perform. Not much has changed in regards to how we look at singers today. I want to tell you about an Egyptian singer, not from 3,000 years ago, but only a few decades ago. She was not only celebrated in Egypt, she was also celebrated in France. I will try and keep my facts as concise as possible, otherwise this video would turn into a full 1 hour talk. So, Yolanda Gigliotti was born on the 17th of January 1933 in Cairo. However, you may know her better by her stage name, Dalida. Her parents were Italian. Her mother was a seamstress and her father was a chief violinist at the Cairo Opera House. They learned Arabic fully and immersed themselves in the community. So much so that Dalida did not refer to herself as Italian. She referred to herself as Egyptian. She was born in Egypt and thus she was Egyptian. Dalida was bullied at school quite a lot due to her wearing very thick glasses, as her eyesight was considerably bad from a toddler, where she developed a severe eye infection which lasted for months. She later would throw her glasses out of the window and said to her mother, "I would rather see the world in a blur than be bullied for these things one more day." In 1940, her father was arrested for being suspected of working with the Nazis. He was found innocent and released 4 years later. Although Dalida said that when he was released, he was like a totally different person. He started to abuse her and beat her mother. She later said that she hated him so much that she only wanted him to die, which did happen a year later from an abscess. In 1954, when Dalida was 21 years old, she was able to enter the Miss Egypt competition pageant, and she won. Her acting ambitions were becoming more of a reality now. Unfortunately, she could not compete for Miss Universe that year, as Egypt was excluded due to the Suez Crisis. But just by looking at Dalida, we know she probably would have won. The same year that she became Miss Egypt, she was cast in her first film, The Mask of Tutankhamun, or Le Masque de Tutankhamun, and another film right after the premiere of that one. Her success in Egyptian films was unlike any other female actress in Egypt at the time. Dalida decided to move to France in December of 1954, where she auditioned for several films but failed. To make money, she sang at a cabaret club where a producer spotted her and invited her to sing in a competition at the Olympia Theatre in Paris. At the competition, another producer, Lucien Maurice, spotted her there and offered her a recording contract that night. She would then fall in love with Lucien. They were shortly married after she began her singing career in France. However, this might have been a bad decision. Dalida wanted a child. Lucien did not. he would go on to tell her, "Your career is your baby." Dalida would then find love in Jean Sobieski. She divorced Lucien, however, the relationship with Jean did not last long either. She then met Luigi Tenco, an Italian singer. They became heavily in love. However, it appears that Luigi Tenco became jealous that Dalida's singing career was becoming more successful than his own. In 1967, he entered the Sanremo Song Contest, which the winning song would be chosen and sent to Eurovision the following year. However, his song was eliminated. A few days later, he killed himself. Dalida was out doing an interview and found him when she returned to the hotel. She was absolutely devastated by this when she found him dead. Dalida went into a severe depression after the death of Luigi. She blamed herself. She then took an overdose of sleeping pills to try and kill herself. However, the attempt did not work. She ended up in hospital in a coma. When she came to, she went to India on a spiritual retreat for 6 months. There, she focused her passion again on singing and acting. She returned to France and released hit after hit and film after film. Dalida did not keep quiet about this very tragic event. She spoke very honestly and very openly about it, as she felt that the public had a right to know, as she had always shared her personal life with them. She then released the song Je suis malade, which means I am sick. The song speaks about the tragic event and how she felt at that point in time. It is a very beautiful yet haunting song. Dalida then had a brief relationship with a young Italian man who was only 19 years old at the time. She became pregnant, the thing that she had wanted most in her life. Yet the man said he wanted nothing to do with her and that he was not ready. Afraid of being alone and being a single mother, she had the pregnancy aborted. However, the trauma was so severe that the abortion left her infertile, which caused her to face many personal issues with never being able to become a mother. Her first husband, Lucien, shot himself when he learned of the event where Dalida tried to take her own life. In 1972, Dalida met Richard Chanfray. They started a long yet very tumultuous relationship. For 10 years they released songs together, such as Parole, Parole, a huge hit throughout Europe. She wanted to sing in Arabic again, something Richard did not want. Richard became a very controlling force in her life. He didn't want her to sing pop. He controlled what she wore, who she was friends with, and who she could sing with, according to several sources. The issues in the relationship are rumored to have been caused by the fact that she could not have children, and the emotional trauma was too much for Dalida to handle, and this caused problems with Richard. However, through all of this, she stayed with him. One night, on coming home after an event, together, they had noticed that there was an intruder in the house. Richard ran inside and shot the intruder. He was sent to prison for a couple of years. During this time, Dalida took back control. Herself and her brother started their own record label, Orlando. She now sang what she wanted and performed the way she wanted to perform. She even did a sold-out tour throughout the USA, performing in one of her most popular and influential extravaganzas. Shortly after Richard was released from prison, they ended their relationship. Dalida would go on to become highly successful, releasing more films, releasing more albums, and having one of the most successful touring careers of the age. She returned to Egypt several times, once even with Richard on holiday. But now, after the release of her full Arabic album, she received a welcome unlike any other. Thousands of people crowded the streets of Cairo to get a glimpse of the singer. Egypt had become immensely proud of Dalida. Her final visit to Egypt touched her so much, she said that she felt like she was finally home. Her career was extremely successful. She sold over 130 million albums, becoming the highest-selling French singer, only to be replaced by Celine Dion. Even today, she is rated as the favorite French singer, only one space behind Celine. She sang in English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, and Arabic. She was a multi-award-winning superstar in Europe and in the Middle East. Celine has actually paid tribute to Dalida several times on stage and has recorded a few of Dalida's songs, such as Avec le temps, Contenant de l'amour, and Parole, Parole. In one of her final interviews, Dalida had said, "Many people tell me that I have inspired millions of people all around the world. But I ask you, who inspires me?" On the 3rd of May, 1987, when she was only 54 years old, Dalida took her own life by taking an overdose of sleeping pills. She felt totally alone. All of the success could not give her the joy that she was still seeking. In her note, she wrote, "Life has become unbearable." Her death shook France, with people lining the streets outside of her home, leaving flowers and tributes. She is remembered today in Paris in a square being named after her at Place de Dalida, where a bronze bust stands. Dalida is also memorialized at her tomb, which is decorated with a beautiful statue of the songstress. The back of the statue is the sun with the rays behind her, and at the very top of the sun is a symbol of ancient Egyptian royalty, the cobra, which gives the illusion that the cobra is standing on her head, connecting Dalida to her Egyptian heritage that she was so very proud of. Dalida is a very tragic example of how others can cause you to lose hope.
Je suis malade.
Thanks for watching, and a very special thank you to Brenda Gibbons for inviting me to make these videos about French Egyptology.